The president has said over and over again, I've been in the room when he said it, that he's more than willing to compromise. He's more than willing to meet in the middle. The reason we have a shutdown is, let's go back to December. In December, the then Republican House passed funding for the entire federal government. It included $5.7 billion for an additional 234 miles of steel barrier. When it got to the Senate, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats filibustered that bill. Every Democrat said, no, we will not allow the government to be funded so long as they're building even a single mile of barrier. That's why we have a shutdown, and that's not a reasonable position. And the president's position has been he's perfectly happy to negotiate, to compromise. Yeah. He said many times, doesn't have to be $5.7 billion. He could find some other number, but the Democrats have said no. The only thing they're willing to consider is 0, 0, 0. That is not reasonable, and that's why we have a shutdown. I think it's premature for that. I've seen the allegations. I want to find out a little bit more about what happened there. I want to learn more than just the allegations in the press. Listen, I will say, if you compare objectively President Trump's policies to Russia compared to President Obama's policies to Russia, by any measure, President Obama was much easier, was much more gentle on Russia. You and I both recall Obama leaning over on a hot mic and saying just before the 2012 election, tell Vladimir I'll have a lot more flexibility after the election. Now, they weren't keeping notes. It just happened to be a network had a camera going. If you compare substance, for example, Trump went to NATO and urged the Europeans, don't let the Russians build a pipeline through Europe. You want to talk about what actually makes a difference standing up to Russia? That on policy was far, far more important than much of the weakness and appeasement we saw under Obama.
Well, Chuck, we are trying to work a deal over the weekend to open the government, but I'll tell you why we're not here. I objected to adjourning in the Senate on Thursday because I have been talking to all these victims of the Trump shutdown. It was President Trump who said he would be proud to shut down the government, that it would be on him. He's done that, and people are hurting, worried about missing mortgage payments, having to reschedule medical appointments. So I objected to the adjournment on Thursday, which is very, very rare. And then I ended up working a deal with the majority leader where we would be in Friday, the day on which people missed their paychecks, the day on which the shutdown became tied for the longest ever, and the Republicans agreed to fast track and pass my guarantee of back pay. I was a co-sponsor of a bill to guarantee back pay for every federal worker. We got it passed unanimously in the Senate. President Trump has agreed to sign it. The House passed it Friday morning. But now what we have is, nearly 100 documented instances of ties between the Trump campaign transition and administration with Russia, bizarre failure to be honest about meetings, and now this indication that President Trump has gone to unusual lengths to hide the content of discussions with Vladimir Putin. But the right answer is, as you suggest, it is to protect the Mueller investigation at all costs, let it get to its end, make sure that the results are made public,
are you at
so
all
then we can
concerned?
decide.